This recording is for Pre-Algebra Chapter 1, Lessons 5 and 6. We're going to be subtracting and adding integers. It's totally review. You guys are going to remember, so just relax and enjoy the show. First off, I'd like to present to you a quote for today. It comes from Horseradish, Bitter Truth You Can't Avoid by Lemony Snicket, page 16. It is always sad when someone leaves home, unless they are simply going around the corner and will return in a few minutes with an ice cream sandwich. Alright, math time! Additive inverse. Additive inverses are two numbers that when you add them together give you 0. These two numbers tend to be opposites of each other, like 5 and negative 5. Well, 5 plus negative 5 is 0. And there was another example there, but let's just ignore it. The example was x plus negative x equals 0. So yeah, alright, let's talk about adding integers with the same sign. So if we have 3 plus 5, and we add them together, we're just going to get 8, because if we add two positive numbers, we're only going to get a number that is more positive. 8 is more positive than 5 and 3. Alright, so if we add two numbers that also have the same sign, in this case negative, we've got negative 7 and negative 3. When we add two negatives together, our answer is going to be more negative than the other two numbers in the addition part. So negative 7 plus negative 3 is negative 10. Negative 10 is more negative than negative 3 and negative 7. Alright, so what if we have different signs? This is when things get a little crazy. So adding integers with different signs means one's positive and one's negative. So if we subtract the two and take the sign of the number that is bigger or furthest from 0, we're going to get the answer. So when adding integers with a different sign, we're actually subtracting here, folks. So let's go ahead and set this up. So we're going to subtract the 6 and the 2, and we're going to get 4. And then the number furthest from 0, in this case negative 6, it's going to donate its sign to give us the answer. Alright? So there we go. Alright, let's go ahead and keep going. Let's look at a commutative property of addition. It means that when everything's being added, we can move them around. Commute means to move. Commutative property means we're moving numbers around. So let's go ahead and move some numbers around. Oh, there's the rest of the problem. I didn't realize there was more, but there it is. So we're going to put all of the positive things together and all the negative things together. So as you can see, I moved the 2. Give me a second. I moved the 2 over here. And one moment. Okay, so I moved the 2 over to the 1, and I have 1 plus 2. 1 plus 2 is 3. And since I moved the 2 over, I now have the negative 3 and the negative 10 next to each other, which gives me negative 13, because a negative plus a negative is a more negative answer. 3 plus negative 13, I'm going to subtract them, which is going to give me 13 minus 3. And the 13's furthest from 0, so it's going to donate its sign and give me negative 10. Negative 10. Okay, so what's next? Next up, we're going to subtract integers, which means adding the opposite. So as you noticed, when I am adding numbers with a different sign, I actually do some subtraction. But now that I'm subtracting integers, I'm actually going to do some addition. So it's really counterintuitive, but you guys will figure it out. So add the opposite means to turn the subtraction sign into an addition sign, which is what I did right there. And then add the opposite. The second number becomes the opposite. So, and it's always the second number, guys. It's never the first. The opposite of 4 is negative 4. So even though it was negative 6 minus 4 to begin with, it's now negative 6 plus negative 4. Alright, so there we go. And then a negative plus a negative is an even more negative number. So negative 6 plus negative 4 is negative 10. Alright, so if I look at the next problem, I have negative 5 minus negative 10. Because I'm looking at the black stuff there, the black part of the problem. So if I add the opposite, the subtraction sign is going to become positive. The subtraction sign is going to become positive. And the negative 10 right here is going to become the opposite. Well, the opposite of negative 10 is positive 10. So I end up with 5 plus 10. Now it's an addition problem, and the signs are different. So I'm going to go ahead and subtract. So now that I've subtracted, I've got 10 minus 5, which is 5. And since the 10 is furthest from 0, it's going to donate its sign. Let's see here. Let me see if I can pull this over. Furthest from 0 donates its sign. A little too far. There we go. Oh, well, you get the idea. Alrighty. So let's go ahead and do another problem. We're using the commutative property. Well, this number 1 doesn't really use it, but I've got another one that shows it. So, commutative problem with subtraction. I'm going to add, oh, there we go. Okay. So, sorry, the problem wasn't over yet. So we have negative 2 plus negative 3 minus 5. Add the opposite. The minus 5 becomes plus negative 5 because I'm adding the opposite. Right? The subtraction turns into addition. The positive 5 turns into a negative 5. And negative 5 is the opposite of positive 5. So now that I've got a bunch of addition signs here, I can go ahead and move things around because commutative means to rearrange. So, well, they're all negative, so I don't really even have to move anything, so it doesn't even really matter. But negative 2 plus negative 3 is negative 5 plus negative 5 is negative 10. Yep, so again, this one doesn't really use the commutative property, but maybe the next one will. Okay, so my stops are in a weird spot, so you guys, I'm sure you're fine with this. Okay, so 1 minus 18 minus negative 3. Going to add the opposite to turn it into 1 plus negative 18 plus positive 3. Alright? So now I'm going to rearrange things using commutative property. I'm actually going to use the commutative property right now and move it so that the positive things are by each other and the negative things are by each other. Well, there's only one negative, but the 3 is going to move over to the 1, and I'm going to get 1 plus 3, which is 4. 4 plus 18, or 4 plus negative 18. Since the signs are different, I'm going to subtract. 18 minus 4 is, and it didn't finish. Why didn't it finish? Oh well, 18 minus 4 is 14, and since the 18 was furthest from 0, it's going to donate its sign of negative 4. So again, this was supposed to be different signs. Different signs means to subtract. And then again, take the number's sign furthest from 0 to give you your answer. Alright folks, I've talked long enough. Sorry it was a little crazy. Hope it was a little fun, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye!